Alright, welcome back. Now that we've done the video number 1 and video number 2, this video is going to start to get into the analysis of questions 1 through 10. That is the meat of our survey. We've looked at some of the demographics, we've done some changes to the file so that it actually gives us some very easy information as well as makes it really visually appealing and everything. Now let's take a look at some analysis and just how flexible pivot tables can be in helping you to analyze information. What I'm going to do is focus on just one of these questions. You can always do multiple ones, looking at different things. You can add multiple pivot tables to your Excel document. But let's just take a look at one of them. Let's look at question number 9. Question number 9 has to do with communication and how well BIMS communicates with their employees. And so I'm going to change this header again, as I have been doing all along, so that it makes sense to us visually. So I'm going to change it to communication and widen it out so that we can see the entire header there. And now what I will do is insert pivot table like we've been doing before. Click OK. Now here's what's going to be fun about this one. So communication, I'm going to move that down under the values box here. Now what it does, in the past it was counting things, now it's actually summing it, and we don't really want a sum. Now in order to change that, what we will do is this little down arrow right here, we can click on that and we can go to a section called value field settings, and in there what I want to do with this is I can count it or I can average it, and let's go ahead and count it. Then I can also bring communication down here, and I want to change it from a sum in the value field settings. I want to change it to an average and click OK. Alright, now you see that I have a whole bunch of digits and everything. So I want to make that a little bit more visually appealing, and the way that you can do that is on the one where it says average. I can click that down arrow again, go to the value field settings, and I can click on this thing called number format. And there I can say I want this to be a number, I want it to be represented with 2 decimal places. So click OK and click OK, and now look at that, it's so pretty. Alright, now here's the most powerful thing about pivot tables that I think you'll find really cool. Down here where we have demographic information is I can look at this. Let's say I want to look at it by gender. I'll put that on my row box here. Okay, so 28 women, 48 men, and my average of the communication, well, it's low for both, so there's nothing really distinctively different between males and females. But I can look at it this way. This table, I can copy that into my Word document if I want to. I can also go over here and do my insert graph. I've showed you this before. So look at how pretty that is. That is so sweet. So here's my count, and here's my averages. Now I can take gender out of the equation, and I can do manager versus non-manager. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so manager, they have a somewhat better opinion about communication. Non-managers, of course, don't have a really good opinion about that. And let's look at division. Let's see if there's any difference in division. Oh, the food department is really low, almost getting close to that 2 mark, etc. That's not good. Okay, so the food division might be something we want to look at. And then let's just take a look at tenure. Oh wow, now here's something interesting. People who've been there longer than 10 years, they're right exactly at an average of 2. That is really interesting. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to show you is that through this pivot table analysis, you can move things around on that pivot chart field over there. You can make different graphs. You can look at things in different ways. So when you're coming up with your hypothesis for BIMs, you don't want to do a lot of upfront data crunching. You want to say, okay, let me take a look at the different variables in this. So maybe communication is the variable that you want to test. And communication, maybe you're thinking that your hypothesis is that women think that women don't particularly like the communication, and it's more likely that women will leave over communication issues. That might be your hypothesis. And so then you start working with the information that you've got in this survey in order to try and prove that. And so anyway, hopefully this gives you a pretty good idea of how you can use pivot tables to crunch your numbers, and that will be important for week 3 of the class. So if you have any questions about this, please ask them in the classroom, and also you can ask questions here on this YouTube channel. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.